She told everyone she was in med school. I believed her until her hospital badge peeled off like a sticker. I found the white coat on Etsy and a class of 2028 photo staged in her laundry room. Quick intro: I'm 33M in Minneapolis, Northeast, and my now ex-fiancé, 31F, told me and her family that she got into med school at the U of M. I learned the truth when her rotation started at 4 a.m. at a clinic that doesn't open until 8. Main story: when I met Erin 3.5 years ago at a friend's bonfire off Nicollet Island, she was wearing thrifted Carhartt and quoting her favorite Mary Oliver poem to a tipsy crowd of software people. I build boring data stuff for a healthcare company downtown. She said she just finished her postbac and was waiting to hear back from med schools. She loved long winter walks and those brutal podcasts about Everest where everyone loses toes. I liked that every story she told had an earnest center. We fell into something easy. She moved into my place near 13th Avenue Northeast, halfway between a brewery I overused and a Ukrainian church whose bells made even my worst Wednesdays sound holy. She studied. I cooked. We bought a weighted blanket like we thought we were better than average anxiety. February of the second year, her email pinged. She screamed, U of M acceptance. We danced in the kitchen to some 90s song, almost knocked over the plant I kept forgetting to water, and made a cake at 9 p.m. from a Betty Crocker mix that tasted like midnight at a bowling alley. Her parents FaceTimed from Rochester, crying the kind of cries that shake a phone. COVID had made school weird, then less weird. The white coat ceremony was limited capacity, her words. She went alone and sent me a photo later, a crisp coat, embroidered name, maroon stole. Her smile looked like someone had drawn sunlight. I printed the photo at Walgreens and framed it on our mantle like a pride billboard. School began. She hugged a stack of thick books and said things like Anatomy Lab and Biochem's a Beast. She had a group chat named HLB Queens, Heart-Lung Block, she said, and our nights became color-coded: orange for study, green for us, blue for sleep or die. She woke early and came home late. I made dumplings at 10 p.m. and learned that whispering at midnight is more intimate than anything else you can do. Little things I ignored at first because love is practiced ignorance sometimes. No new student ID ever made it to our key rack. They're delayed, she said. She never wanted me on campus. Security's weird with visitors, she said. Her cohorts had names I never met in person. Everyone's scattered, she said. The scrubs pile looked Etsy-ish. Embroidery slightly off-center. A badge reel with a cartoon heart. Her badge had matte finish that made my fingers itch to test it. I didn't. Her car seemed to know more than I did. On mornings she left at 4 a.m. for clinic, our garage camera showed the door lifting, headlights painting the snow, then a 30-minute gap until she came back inside with "forgot my water bottle." Normal is a fog if you want it to be. I proposed last March by the Stone Arch Bridge at sunset like a cliché with a nice ring. She said yes. We cried. A stranger said, "Y'all look cold," and offered to take our picture. We ate juicy lucis at Matt's like we weren't worried about timing heartburn with romance. Life felt like one of those Target commercials where couples dance while a dog judges them. Her first rotation was scheduled for early summer at a clinic in St. Paul. The night before, she ironed scrubs and set 4 alarms because 5 a.m. is a suggestion. She left quietly. The house hummed. I dozed. At 5:45, the garage camera pinged. She was back. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Went great. Long day. I stared at the screen and felt like someone rearranged my furniture. I texted her, "What time does the clinic open?" She wrote back a heart and 8, and then, "I'll call you later." I put my phone down like it had a temperature. 2 days later, she forgot her laptop. I opened it to grab a document she needed. An Etsy tab was open: custom white coat embroidery, MD candidate, fast shipping, another UMN badges, novelty only. The seller's photo was a flat lay of coziness, folded coat, badge reel, dried eucalyptus. My chest went hollow. I punched her name into the university's directory. Nothing. I texted a friend of a friend, my neighbor's cousin, who's a fourth year at U of M Med. You happen to know Aaron last 3 dots? Nope. Should I? I sent a smiley and powered my phone off because I hate when the truth sees your face. When she came home that night, I couldn't wait for a better script. Can I see your badge? I asked, soft. She laughed. You want to play doctor? And winked. Serious, I said. She sighed, mock dramatic, reached into her tote, and pulled out her lanyard. The badge caught the kitchen light like a printed thing with a glossy cover. I rubbed an edge with my thumb. The corner peeled up, just whisper, like a label on a jar that doesn't want to commit. What is this? I asked, and my voice sounded like someone else's, too calm, too low. Her face changed like weather. Smile off. Eyes calculating. Then, okay, I need to explain. You ever watch someone rearrange their story mid-sentence? It's a skill. She said she didn't get in the first time. She'd been embarrassed. She told her parents she did because I wanted them to be proud for 5 minutes. Then 5 grew into months, then into a coat. She said she was studying at the library, sitting in on a few lectures. It's openish, apparently. But then you proposed, and I didn't want this be the first thing after the ring. You know me. I wanted to be someone good, someone who does big things. You don't have to be a doctor to be good, I said quietly. But you can't be not a doctor and pretend you are. She nodded and shook at the same time. I'll fix it. I'll tell my parents. I'll apply again. I'll get a job at the hospital as a scribe. It's adjacent. What were you doing at 4 a.m.? I asked, because ghosts like to be named. Panicking, she said. Driving around, sitting in the parking lot of the clinic, making myself believe I belonged. We sat in the kitchen and watched the world's dumbest movie, 2 adults looking at a coat. I walked into our laundry room to get air. There, leaned against the dryer, was the ring light I forgot we owned and a background paper roll clipped up haphazardly. On the washer, her phone on a tripod, open to the last video, her in the white coat, waving, we did it! White coat, with our laundry basket in the corner. I didn't press play. I walked back out and sat down again like my legs had degrees. I'm so sorry, she said. Cry number 2, ugliest crying, snot and hiccups. I didn't know how to stop. It became my life. She wanted us to figure it out before telling anyone our story, she said, like it was a brand deck. I told her I needed to not be in the house that held the fake coat. I packed a bag. My friend Gabe in St. Paul has a basement with 2 mismatched lamps and a futon that makes you rethink sitting. He said, come, bring ice cream, or whiskey, or both. I texted her mom the next day because I didn't think she had. Can we talk? I wrote. She called in seconds. What's wrong? I told her in a paragraph that shook. Silence. Then, oh, Aaron. Then to me, are you okay? In the voice moms reserve for fires. I said I was. I wasn't. We met at a caribou in St. Louis Park. Her mom cried in the way that makes strangers offer napkins. I'm not angry, she said after. I'm scared. This is a disease in our family, wanting to be who we think you want. We raise girls like this sometimes. Smile, excel, win. And if you don't, pretend. I did it at church. My sister did it in her marriage. Erin chose bigger props. I decided I wasn't going to be the guy who called her a sociopath on the internet. She's a liar. She's also a person. Both can be true. Update 1, we pressed pause on the wedding. Canceled vendors. The venue kept a chunk. The florist gave me a store credit I gifted to a stranger on Buy Nothing because I couldn't picture peonies without flinching. I moved to Gabe's for a minute that turned into 6 weeks. I slept under buzzing ductwork and walked to a diner in the morning where the waitress called me sweetie and refilled my mug like hope. Small USA. Local sentence, the corned beef hash at Hilo in Minneapolis hits at 7 a.m. like a hug you didn't know you needed. Erin sent essays. I didn't read them all. She started scribing at HCMC 3 nights a week, which is a real job with real charts, and texted me a photo of her badge, real plastic, laminated, clipping correctly. I believe she wanted that to be true. Her dad called me. "This is not your mess," he said. "We love you. We're embarrassed." We raised a girl who didn't feel like she could tell us the worst thing without losing our love. He didn't ask me to stay. He told me to do what kept my chest quiet. The internet did its thing. She posted a long burnout story on Instagram about stepping away from a program for mental health. People posted hearts and "proud of you for sharing." Someone DM'd me, "Are you okay?" A person I hadn't talked to since college. I didn't reply because I didn't trust my hands. I told my parents. My mom, who keeps Post-its on her Post-its, said, "We don't fix liars by marrying them." My dad made a joke about doctor bills that would have been funnier 3 months ago. They offered their spare room in Edina. I declined because I didn't want to explain my mid-30s to my high school poster of the Strokes in my childhood closet. Erin asked me to go to one therapy session with her. Our therapist was a woman in a cardigan whose office smelled like eucalyptus and dust. She asked Erin to tell the truth in one sentence. Erin said, "I didn't get into med school. I lied because I couldn't bear the opposite of your face when you proposed." It was a weird sentence with unnecessary art. The therapist didn't flinch. "What do you need from him?" she asked Erin. "Time," Erin said, "and for him to believe I can be good without the letters. Therapy will make you articulate sentences that feel like bricks you can either build with or drop on your foot." "What do you need from her?" she asked me. "To not narrate," I said. "Just do things. Real things. Quietly. For a long time." Update 2. She did some of it. She scribed. She studied for the MCAT again, for real this time, at the kitchen table using a spreadsheet that scared me in a different way, color-coded like the Navy. She told her friends the truth. Half of them hugged, half of them ghosted. A cousin sent me a DM that read, "So you broke her heart because she was embarrassed?" I typed and erased 40 replies, then wrote, "We canceled a wedding because the version of her I proposed to didn't exist." No reply. The Etsy seller who sold the coat reposted one of Erin's white coat photos in her customer reviews. My stomach left my body like a magician did it. I took a screenshot. I sent a DM, "Please remove this. It's fraudulent." She replied, "OMG, so sorry," and replaced it with a photo of candles. 2 weeks later, a GoFundMe for returning to school after burnout launched with a $100 goal that turned into $7,300 because Erin knows people and people love redemption arcs that fit phone screens. I scrolled. There was my face in one picture, cropped, but my nose knows itself, and a caption, "Support helped me when I wondered if I could keep going." My chest went hard. I texted, "Take me off your fundraiser." She wrote back, "I honestly forgot which pictures I picked. I'm sorry. I'll remove." I filed a name removal on our joint lease. I took my name off utilities. I canceled the ring insurance. I put the ring in a safe deposit box at a bank in Northeast where the teller wears a bolo tie because he can. The box felt like a coffin for a future I wasn't sure had died yet. I hated myself for the metaphor. We met on a bench by the river in late fall and watched a guy throw a tennis ball for a dog that looked like pure joy in fur. Erin told me she'd signed up as a standardized patient. They pay you to pretend to be sick so med students can practice. "It's not, doctor," she said. "It's the vicinity." She wanted me to hear that she was near the thing instead of pretending to be the thing. She cried without makeup this time, which felt like progress. I cried a little too. The river did its steady river thing. Update 3. Winter did what winter does here. We dug out cars and counted our days in coffee. I went to the St. Paul Winter Carnival with my sister's kids and watched people carve ice like it could hold a good decision. I started playing pickup hockey too late in life, falling often and laughing too hard. Small USA local sentence: if you haven't had a Juicy Lucy at the Nook in St. Paul, do it, but let it cool unless you like mouth blisters. Erin took the MCAT. She sent me a thumbs up emoji and a photo of a pencil like we were still each other's first call. I sent back a "you got this" because I didn't know how to root for her without inviting her back into my house. I wasn't moving back. I knew that by then. You can love someone and not want to be their home. That's a sentence therapy helped me write in my head. She applied to a handful of schools, real ones, and one Caribbean program a cousin recommended as a back door. I didn't say anything. Her life was hers finally, in a realistic sense. I told her I'd bring her a casserole if she got into anything, and I wouldn't come in unless invited. We could make bargains like that when we're adult enough to know our shapes. January, she showed up in my work lobby. I work in a building with skyways, so it felt like she'd walked into a climate-controlled argument. She had a manila envelope. Inside, a handwritten letter to my parents apologizing. A check for $1,400, half the deposit the venue kept. Her GoFundMe made it possible, she said, which sounds awful, but is a thing that happened. A small photo strip from a night we took pictures in a booth at a bar in Uptown when that used to be our mood. "I'm not asking for anything," she said. "I wanted to return what I could carry." "Thank you," I said, and meant it. We stood, strangers' coats brushing by us, 100 lives doing small Monday things around our tiny melodrama. She asked if we could try again in a different way: date, not wedding, honesty like a religion, no doctor or bust energy. I said I didn't have that gear anymore. That was the last time we spoke in person. Update 4. Spring in Minneapolis is a joke. It snows, then melts, then snows again. I went to the state fair in my head and ate corn dogs in my kitchen because the world's dumb. In real life, June came. The river stopped pretending to be a sidewalk. My friend group dragged me to a trivia night where I did well on obscure baseball and poorly on Taylor Swift. The woman on the team next to ours laughed at my wrong answer and said, "Bold choice," which felt like flirting in this economy. Her name is Ren. She's 32, runs a small plant store in Longfellow, and can keep a fern alive with the power of attention, a thing I apparently lack. She knows my story because I told her the short version on date 3 over cheese curds at Red Cow like a normal person. I almost married someone who wasn't going to be a doctor, but told me she was. She said, "That's a sentence?" We both laughed. She didn't offer wisdom. She offered to split fries. That felt like a door I knew how to open. Erin texted me in May, a single line: "I got into the Caribbean program." And then I know what you're going to say. I didn't know what I was going to say, actually. I typed, "Proud of you for doing a real thing," and deleted it. I typed, "Be careful," and deleted it. I typed, "Congratulations," and sent it. She sent a heart. That's all. Her mom sent me a photo of a cake with "med school for real" piped on in wobbly letters. I wrote back, "Tell her I hope she has a comfortable chair wherever she studies." Her mom wrote, "I will. Are you okay?" I said yes. I was a medium okay. Final update 10 months later. If you skimmed, she lied about med school, Etsy'd her white coat, staged photos in our laundry room, and I left. She started over for real. I didn't go back. I'm dating someone who thinks honesty is a hobby, not homework. The ring is still in the box in the safe deposit. I think I'll reset it someday, not because I want to repurpose a symbol, but because it's a good stone and my grandmother would hate a thing gathering dust. Maybe I'll use it for something else. Maybe I'll give it to my niece when she finishes. Anything she actually did. I didn't torch Aaron online. It would have felt righteous and then rancid. I told the truth here because a lot of us get stuck in someone else's story and forget to check for props. The badge peeled. That was my moment. Everyone gets a peel. If you haven't yet, you'll know it when it comes. It's not a little thing. It's all the little things clattering down the stairs. A bunch of small USA local things because they're the only proof I have that life is mostly not dramatic. The cardamom roll at Isles Bun and Coffee will fix your mood for exactly 11 minutes. Sit by BDE Makaska at 7:30 p.m. in July. Watch the dogs live their best lives. It will make your chest feel like a lawn. The best thrift finds are still at the Goodwill on University if you go on a Tuesday morning. If you cut down on how much you narrate your life to yourself and just go stand on the Stone Arch Bridge when the sun's sappy, you will feel like a better version of your heart for free. Ren met my parents. We had dinner at a place with paper menus and meatloaf specials because my parents think fancy is suspicious. She brought my mom a cutting of something green and complicated, and my mom said, "I usually kill these," and Ren said, "Me too," until I didn't, and it felt like a metaphor which annoyed me in a way that told me it was working. Erin sent one more text from an island I won't name because the internet doesn't need to be helpful that way. "Anatomy is hard," she wrote, "but I like it." I sent back, "I'm glad." She didn't write again. I hope she's doing it for real. I hope she owns it. I hope she doesn't fabricate to fill cracks. I hope her parents get to sit in a real gym and watch her walk across a real stage in 4 long years, not because the letters matter, but because the truth survived. If you're sitting with a person whose timeline doesn't match their stories, ask to see the boring paper. Boring is your friend. If the badge peels, your gut isn't mean. It's a witness. You don't owe anyone your home as a stage. If you got all the way here, I'm okay. My apartment has new plants I'm trying not to kill. My hockey game is still bad. My life is quiet in the ways that matter. The skyways hum. The light lasts longer. I don't check my phone for Etsy orders. I don't listen for a fake alarm. I think about the laundry room sometimes. The ring light, the edited sincerity. We've all done a version on a smaller scale. I'll never be cool about it again. I'm fine with that. Give me the dull joy of matching socks and a Tuesday lunch and a person who shows you the ID the first time you ask. Give me a badge that snaps. Oh, and if you go to Matt's for a Juicy Lucy, let it cool. I have one scar on the roof of my mouth that will carry a love story no one asked for. That's about the right size for it now.